Hey, how's it going? My name's Riley, and I just wanted to create a short video walking you through some of the key things you need to know as you are creating your website. And some people underestimate the process of creating a website. They just think it's some design here, some copywriting here, and some imagery there, and boom, you have a great website. And unfortunately, it's not quite that easy. So that's why I wanted to create this video. I wanted to walk you through some of the key things you need to know as you are in the process of creating your new website. So the first thing is, and this really applies to anybody, you have to know the goal of your website. What do you want it to do, or how do you want your your visitors to act on your website? Do you want them to convert into a lead to a customer, which is what we're going to be talking about here today, or do you want them to do something else, whether it's persuade them on a viewpoint you have, or whatever else it is? There are many other purposes that you can form your website around, but like I said, today we are going to be focusing solely on taking that visitor and turning them into a customer. So just to describe a little bit more on why this is important, this is going to help influence the way that you lay out your website, the way you write your copy, and the way that you kind of structure your call to actions and what types of call to actions you're going to use. Really, in this case, since we're talking about taking a visitor to a lead, you're trying to figure out, okay, what is the next step? Is it a PDF form that they're going to download? Is it a free quote form? Is it contacting me? Whatever it is, you need to know what you're trying to get them to do so you can structure your website around it. And the next thing is simplicity. Just keeping your website simple, especially when it comes to service industries. People are wanting to come to your website and get the information that they're looking for quickly. They don't want to spend 3 hours on your website just trying to figure out where the information that they're looking for is on your website. So just remember, keep things simple, and this applies to the navigation up top. This applies to how they find certain pages. This applies to buttons. This applies to animations on your website, which I typically don't necessarily recommend, but that's a separate video in and of itself. And then along those lines as well is just keeping it consistent. If your navigation is in the top right, which is recommended, keep it there. Don't change it from side to side on different pages. Things like that go a long way, especially when it comes to buttons. Keep them all the same color throughout the entire website. Don't have a red button here, a green button there, and a yellow button down at the bottom of the page. Keep them all the same color. This not only helps your website to look a little bit better, but when it comes to actually getting visitors to take the next action, you want your visitors to kind of get used to, hey, this color represents a place where I can take the next step or actually perform an action, and you want them to get used to that. You want them to really kind of go into a mode where if they see that color, they know what to do next. So that's why it's important to keep things consistent, because you can kind of train your visitors to do certain things on your website. So the next thing is avoiding stock imagery. And I know this is a bit controversial. Stock imagery is fairly popular because it's an easy way to get imagery on your website. You don't have to take photos. You can just take great looking images off the internet and use them right on your website. And when it comes to a business in the service industry, especially a business like landscaping, where you're showing off the work that you perform, it's very important that you use the images or your own images. Nowadays, when we have phones in our pockets that take just as good pictures as a focused diehard camera, there is no excuse to not having pictures of your work. And if you don't, start taking them now and get those stock photos off your website as soon as possible, because people can spot stock photos from a mile away, and you don't really want them on your website representing your work. No matter how good the photos look, people would much prefer to see actual pictures of the work that you provide. So the next thing is contact information. And this is incredibly important, especially for, like I've said, service industries, because people want to come to your website and they may have questions. They may want to ask you something, or maybe they want to contact you to inquire about your services. All of these things are possibilities on a landscaping site or a window cleaning site. They're all possibilities, so you want to make sure you have your contact information in a visitable place. And going back to consistency, keeping your phone number in the top right of your page, keeping your email or your phone number in the footer as well as an address, and then having a contact us page where people can find a large summary of your contact information, your address, your phone number, your email, a contact form. All of that stuff should be on your contact us page. Then another incredibly important thing that you need to have on your website is, it's actually a variety of things. It's all working for the purpose to build trust. And I've done a talk about this once before, and it was totally tailored to building trust on a website, because if you can build trust, it will separate you from all the people that are just trying to find a deal. It separates you from the people who are looking to compare you against a lower priced competitor, and that is not a place or a competition that you want to compete for. So when it comes to building trust, like I said, it can separate you from that lower price game, and it can actually build more, really, it can find customers that you actually want, people that value your services, people that value the quality of your work. And that's really the name of the game when it comes to running a business, is you want customers that value the work that you provide. Those are incredibly valuable customers to have. So what do you do exactly to build that trust? Number one, reviews. Reviews you have to be getting. Reviews not only are becoming more and more important on Google because Google is making ranking decisions based on how your reviews are, but it also is a very easy way to influence the buying decision of a visitor on your website. So I cannot stress enough that you should be getting reviews and putting them on your website, whether it's a slider or whether you're just laying them out on your website. You have to have them somewhere on your website, because that is going to help them trust you more. It's going to help them understand that, hey, other people have tried you and they love you, so that makes the decision easier on them because other people have gone before them. The next thing is the About Us page. And this is a place that most people neglect. Most people don't put any effort into their About Us page, and that is a big mistake. This is a place where you can create a personal connection with your visitor, and that is incredibly important because it then turns from a business transaction to asking someone for help, and that's what you want. So make sure when you are writing your About Us page, you're either kind of telling them how you got started. You may even talk about your family. You may talk about why you got started. Maybe it was a college thing. You were raising money so you could go to college. Whatever it was, just tie your story into your About Us page. Maybe get a bit sappy, whatever it is, anything to get them to trust you a bit more, and that's what you're really working for here. And you just want to make sure that as you're writing your About Us page, and this is kind of a given, don't make it sound robotic, don't make it sound cold. Really kind of create that personal connection, and that's what you're working for. You're wanting to create a personal connection. You're not just trying to check it off your list and be done with it. And the next thing is, and this is the last thing that I want to talk about, is you just want to know your audience, know who you're talking to. That's going to very much influence the way you write your copy, and it's going to help you see better results as you're trying to get people to take an action. Different types of people respond to different types of copywriting, and different people have different goals that they're wanting to achieve. So just keep that in mind. Know the audience that you're talking to, and that will greatly improve the results that you are looking for. Anyway, that's about it. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I would be more than happy to look at them and give you the best answer I can possibly come up with. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful. I'll talk to you in the next video. See ya.